Yeah, but now moving on to Marussia, they
I know that
showed
one
up.
now.
They showed up to Jerez pretty late. I think they came 2 days into the test and didn't get on track till the third day.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because they had some unexplained issues, didn't they? That they found when they finally put their car together in the factory, and then decided to delay it to stay at their factory to be able to fix it there, where they got the most tools and the most resources. But yeah, definitely on the back foot. But at least they managed to get over, unlike Lotus. So at least they've done some.
Yeah, the car looks good too. Again, definitely a much more complex front wing versus last year. I like the new livery on it as well. The lines on it kind of go back towards the rear. It's really nice looking. I'm liking the new Marussia for sure. With that new Ferrari power plant, I'm hoping that they can lift themselves up into the midfield pack. Kind of alongside Caterham. Of those two teams, I maybe have a little bit of a preference for Caterham. Especially now that they have Kamui Kobayashi. But it would be nice to see all teams be competitive. Honestly, nobody likes to see any team that far at the back. And I mean, they got 10th with the Cosworth, so hopefully they can do even better with the Ferrari package.
Yeah, they've definitely made the right choice over Caterham for the at least so far for the engine. Obviously, with the Ferrari being seemingly really really reliable and seems like a pretty solid package. But I don't know. I was quite underwhelmed by the car, though. It must be said. I thought it was a bit just bleh. It looked, I was reading the Autosport technical analysis thing as well, and it looked solid. Like they were saying, it looks sort of solid and neat, but not not anything special sort of thing. And
Right.
that was definitely my impression when I first saw it. It just isn't, compared to the Caterham, there's a lot more fancy aero bits and stuff on the Caterham. That's not to say they'll work on the Caterham, but it was just very kind of, they played it I think too safe almost. It almost seems like they've just come out with a basic car. They probably will have some sort of upgrade package for the first race, but it's gonna have to be a pretty big one, I think.
it does look kind of bulky in some ways. I mean, the
Yeah.
Caterham has big side pods as well, but I think the Marussia as well looks like it's like a very basic 2014 car.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was reading. I think it was the Marussia. I can't remember what it was. One of the cars was, or at least one of the cars was running without DRS mechanism at all, purely because it didn't have enough time to get on. I think that was the Marussia. So obviously, that shows how up against it they are to get the car ready. I'm pretty sure that's Marussia. I could be completely wrong, but yeah, that's obviously gives a indicator of how up to it that all the teams are really up against it.
And they're actually one of the few teams that are keeping their driver lineup for 2014. They're sticking with Jules Bianchi and Max Chilton. I definitely agree with the Bianchi choice, certainly. Max Chilton, I can sort of understand, though. He was the only person, I think the only person in history to ever finish every race on the calendar in his rookie season. So, I mean, certainly reliability, again, which might play a big factor this year, seems to be his strength. So, how do you guys feel about that lineup?
I think it's a good idea from Marussia to stick with the same lineup, particularly for this year. I was surprised when Caterham sort of changed the whole lineup because such big changes. You want kind of stability in that you know how a driver works. You know when he says something, you know exactly what it means, sort of thing from experience. So I think it's definitely a solid choice. I mean, Jules Bianchi, they were always going to keep him, weren't they? He was a very solid driver. But Max Chilton, pretty average, but of course brings money to the team, which Marussia definitely needs. So I think that's pretty much why they've stuck with him. Wouldn't surprise me if he's out. I'm already talking about next year. Wouldn't surprise me if he's out by next year. Even though he brings money, I'm sure there's other pay drivers that are probably better than him because he is pretty average. I mean, he's become the thing of joke memes, isn't he, on the internet completely, which isn't good.
Max
Right.
power.
Yeah, well, I think someone called him Max finishes last or something along those lines. But yeah,
Yeah, my favourite meme on him was, I think it was from Racing Humour when they said Max was kind of like, yeah, double points. And he's like, 0 plus 0 equals? Oh, it's 0. Brilliant.
yes,
Which, I particularly liked. Because he
yes,
does
I
come
remember
across a
that.
little bit sort of simple as well, it must be said.
Well, when you look like that, no one can really expect you to have a lot going on upstairs. So let's see. How did they do in the end, though? They ended with 30 laps for the whole team, and where Max Chilton did 5 laps. So I can assume that Bianchi did 25 laps. Yep, and he sure did. So they were able to do some running, but certainly a lot less than the Ferrari team, who did 251 laps for the whole weekend.
Yeah, exactly. So we know that Ferrari have got a solid powertrain, a very reliable powertrain. You know, because all the other teams managed to do a good number of laps, so they can't really blame the powertrain much for that. So it's definitely their chassis problems. But
absolutely,
yeah, they did arrive late, but that's still not really enough. I think it's a day and a half they got, wasn't still not really enough. 30 laps for a day and a half is not a lot at all. But I think they've definitely got some work to do about on reliability in the next couple of weeks.
And Max Chilton didn't even set a time, even though I know the times don't matter, but Max Chilton wasn't even able to set a time, actually. I assume he must have done the running on Thursday, and Bianchi did the running on Friday.
Yeah,
I really can't remember.
No, no idea.
Well,
it's Marussia, let's face it, nobody really cares.
I would assume.
You're not keeping an eye on Marussia, most people.
Right, yeah, certainly, yeah, especially at Jerez, everyone's there for one man, pretty much. Anyone that's in the stands is there to see Fernando Alonso for the most part.
Yeah, exactly,
Which is why the crowds came on Thursday and Friday, of course.
Yeah, standard.
So that's pretty much it for Marussia. What's up next, Miko?